That is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production.
Welcome to this segment in the program, and you know you are viewing, you're listening to the Dynamic Hour. Remember, I do 2 programs, one in the morning from 8 to 9, the name, the Dynamic Hour. One during the nighttime, the name, the Hub. So 2 programs, the Dynamic Hour and the Hub. On Sundays from 1 to 2, I do a special. And yes, it's called the Dynamic Hour, but it's really to set the tone for the week. So remember, it's 2 programs every day from 8 to 9 a.m. in the morning and 8 to 9 p.m. during the night. I want to say to the folks on Facebook to please share the live. Sharing is caring. When you share, your friends will discover the program, because your friends may not be my friends. That is something that you need to know. It is so important that you understand your friends may not be my friends on Facebook. So as a result, when you share on your page, your friends get to discover the program. They get to see that this program is live on YouTube. And while you're on Facebook, please follow, like the page, and follow the page. Click follow, click like. When you're on YouTube, you can subscribe to follow the YouTube channel, Vision Information Services YouTube channel. Click subscribe so you become a member of. So every time I am on, you will get a notification. You will know I am on. Or even if you're on YouTube and you're scrolling through, my videos will pop up. So you have to subscribe. Those on the radio, it is important that you tell people where they can find the program on the radio. Vibes 101.3 FM, Vibes 106.3 FM, and out there in New York on Wild 106.3 FM. Spreading the news, telling people where they can find the program is very important. I want to get into the meat of this morning's conversation. I want to say to you, a dictator will always tell you that this is their last. Every time. A dictator will tell you this term is their last term. But when they win again, they would come back to you and say, the next term is the last term. And when they win again, they will come back to you and say, the next term is the last term. And they will catch a number of people with that. Because then there are people who would say, well, It's his last term. Let's give him a good send-off. So the dictator was defeated at the last general election. The de facto dictator was defeated at the last general election. And still, that dictator wants to hang on, wants to run again. And he said over and over and over again, it is his last. Give me one for the road. Is mine. Give me one for the road. Well, he did not get one for the road. He got a good cocktail by a young Grenadian, a young, intelligent, patriotic Grenadian. After 20-something years, that dictator was at the helm, running things in Grenada. But that young, intelligent, patriotic Grenadian defeated that dictator. And it reminds us of what's taking place in Africa, where you have some leaders who have a stronghold on power and they become a dictator, they become, controlling, they rule with an iron fist, and they believe the country belongs to them and them alone. But the Grenadian people liberated themselves. The Grenadian people removed that de facto dictator by the ballot. But that de facto dictator cannot get over it. That cut skin was just too much. He was so confident in going in. Confident boy. He's going to win. He gave 1 day for people to get registered. 1 day. And then he had the nomination day and all the different TTV. He mobilized, organized all his candidates, and they had a carnival-like atmosphere in the streets. Some of them even went in the polling station and threw powder all over the place. Where they got the powder from, God alone knows. Or maybe the devil knows where they got it from. Because sometimes it's not God, the devil. And they threw that thing all over the polling station. But the good thing, the people went to the polling station early and they were able to wash it down. But they were so confident. They were more or less cussing the other side. They were more or less talking down to everybody. Grenada is theirs. That's their piece of rock. And nobody could do anything about it. But dictators tend not to go just like that. So right now, that party is going through real hell because the dictator doesn't want to exit. And it's just like the GULP, Some people don't want to face it. And mind you, that dictator grew up under the GULP reign and so Eric Matthew Geary. So he knows. But what happened to the GULP? It was buried in the center cemetery with the leader when the leader died in, I think it was 1996. I went to that funeral. In fact, I think it was at the Trade Center, and then he was buried at the center cemetery. I actually went to that funeral. So the dictator buried and the party buried with it. And elements of that party went over to the NNP. But we are seeing a similar thing today. It's as though the dictator has to go with the party. That is what we are experiencing in Grenada. No convention. We don't want to hear anything about convention. That's the dictator. That is the dictator. But that is how the dictator used to run Grenada. The same way the dictator is conducting himself within that party is the same way that dictator was running Grenada, with an iron fist. He had control over the police force, in my belief. Control over the public service, in my belief. Control over every single thing in the country, in my belief. And if you talk too loud, you're in trouble. People were intimidated. They were afraid. Very much afraid. When the sheriff comes into town, when the big boys roll in, All of them, they were more or less worshiping this idol here in Grenada. But the dictator was defeated at the polls. But just how the dictator is conducting himself within the party is the same way he was conducting himself in government, in my belief. And it's dangerous when you don't want to give up. There comes a time when the best dancer knows to exit the stage. The best dancer must know that, because the applause will turn into boos. They will boo you down the stage. Even if you're a public speaker and you go over your time, people get bored. I have done public speaking at different levels. You have to know when to exit the stage, because you will be overstaying your time and people will start becoming resentful, becoming angry, bitter, get down. But historically, within the Caribbean, we have seen leaders just like that de facto dictator, not knowing when to bow out, and they would go down with the whole party and all their supporters. And mind you, they would become so entrenched. They will become so deep within those supporters' mindset that they cannot see anybody replacing that person. It's a disease. It is a disease. So serious fighting is taking place within that party, which is really sad. But I am not surprised, because the dictator has always done that. This time around, he's getting a good fight, because Peter David wants leadership and is not giving up. He's not giving up, and all his men, because he has his people in different places fighting his battle for him. You're not hearing him, but he has his supporters and people within different constituencies fighting his battle. Because I believe Peter was promised that leadership. I believe so. It's sad that we are seeing all this thing playing out, but that is how they've always governed Grenada or ruled Grenada. So we must learn from that. Never again to have this individual or his party running Grenada, running the affairs of Grenada. It's dangerous, because they run it with an iron fist, and we are seeing that today. It's playing out in broad daylight. And I'm happy, because the people who have a liquor sense would now say, okay, that is how you are running Grenada. And you don't want to give up. You don't want to exit. This man will be 80-something years the next election, you know. Yeah. But he has this belief, like those African leaders, that more they get old, is more people going to respect them and revere them and to worship them and keep them there. You have some of those African leaders, they get stroke, they get Alzheimer's. They can't speak, but they're still hanging on to power, you know. They're walking with a stick. They're still hanging on to power. Some of them using pampas, and they're still hanging on to power. So we have this individual in Grenada who believes that he can hang on to power no matter what within his organization now, because he was defeated at the polls. And nearly all those African leaders, they are filthy rich. How did they amass that wealth? God alone knows. And we are experiencing the same thing in the Caribbean. They become dictator-like. Dangerous for any democracy.
Grenada opposition leader and head of the New National Party, Dr. Heath Mitchell, has once again downplayed his party's constitutional requirement to hold a convention, while throwing shade at people who have called for the democratization of the organization. The NNP is likely to ignore its own constitutional requirement to hold its annual convention this year, with Dr. Mitchell again insisting A date in the future will be dependent on the quality of the party's organization. This September marks 21 months since any constitutionally mandated organ, except of the executive of the party, has held any caucus. It is the longest stretch in its history that the NNP has gone without holding either a convention or a general council. During a press conference Tuesday, Dr. Mitchell, who party insiders say is seeking to be returned as leader in spite of a campaign promise, was adamant on his stance about the delayed convention.
Seems like some people's concentration is convention. But we would not be moved and to have a convention because some people's personal interest is behind a convention. The party has been successful.
Can you come to argue, Dr. Mitchell, that some people's personal interest is against a convention too?
No.
Dr. Mitchell echoed the narrative of some NNP advocates in recent weeks that suggest anyone advocating for any such meeting is bent on creating what he called confusion, while at the same time ignoring such internal calls from some original members, including former chairman Sir Larry Joseph.
Some people outside the party wants to make a decision for the party. The party has been successful without these forces that want to push it in one direction. It's been 30-odd years of success, Hamlet. 15 seats 3 times. And the party does not need the advice of some of those who tell it what to do. The leadership of the party will make that decision, and it will not be moved by elements who want to see destruction. We will not be moved. We will do what we have to do.
The former Grenada leader hinted that anyone who is not satisfied with the state of affairs within NNP could leave.
There are people who have left our party before the party became stronger. So I'm not worried about our party. We will do what we have to do.
Dr. Mitchell said in his view, reorganizing the party is the key issue right now, saying that it lost the 2022 elections because of a lack of the work of the movement. He did not refer to internal polling that showed that the issue of pension payments and leadership were the major reasons for the drop in support. Dr. Mitchell's latest comments came in the wake of a report confirmed by multiple sources that a talk show host on a local station, seen as aligned to the New National Party, has quit his Sunday program after he refused to give a guarantee not to bring up the issue of either convention or leadership in the party on the program.
Until my work is over, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna be up full, brave and strong. Can't let the system over.
If you can't wait for how much years before the convention, leave. And that is the message to Peter. Leave. And I told you I spoke to my good friend KB. You know, KB has been out there speaking for that party for a long, long time. But KB is seen as a Peter man. So boy, KB is a guy who would speak his mind. Who tell KB to speak his mind? You're joking or what? They instruct that there be a muzzle placed on his mouth, a gag order. You can't say this and you can't say that. Can't talk about the convention. Can't talk about the party in this light. You can't this and you can't that. Well, you know, KB, stubborn as usual. He said, well, look, I'm a free man. You're not going to control me. I'm going to speak my conscience. Who tell you that? Who tell him to say that? Bye-bye, KB. But that's how the NNP, and when I speak about the NNP, I'm speaking about the new nasty party. That is how they have always functioned. Right? And the dictator is always in charge. The dictator runs the show. The de facto dictator. Correction. That's how it is. It's sad though. Really, really sad. But I am not surprised. I am not surprised. But let them fight. Let them wrestle. Let them wrestle. Because I told you, once the NNP is out of power, that is exactly what would happen. And it's coming to pass. I want to say, folks, again, I firmly believe that the next general election will be heavily dependent on you, our Grenadian brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And I told you that I am embarking on that project to register as many Grenadian brothers and sisters in the diaspora as possible. So when you come home for a funeral, when you come home for a wedding, when you come home on vacation, when you come home for carnival, when you come home for Christmas, when you come home for All Saints and All Souls, when you come home for the 50th Independence celebration, when you come home, please connect with me, link up with me so that you can get registered. All you need is your birth certificate and or your passport, your Grenadian passport, a Grenadian birth certificate or a Grenadian passport. And if your mother or father is a Grenadian, you're entitled to Grenadian citizenship. You don't have to pay for it. You're entitled to it. Once you carry their birth certificate, once you carry the information, you can then become a citizen of Grenada and eligible to vote. So once you come into Grenada, please take my number, 1473-415-4817. And I am very happy to say to you that quite a number of Grenadians living in the diaspora reached out to me from the last day or two when I announced that, reached out to me to say they're either registered already, but they did not vote because they registered after the election, and they will be coming to vote next election. Some indicated to me that they're coming this month, they're coming next month, they're coming December, they're coming January, they're coming February, and they will be registering before they go back with the hope that they can come back before the election and vote when that time comes around. And that is what we need. So we need less talk and action. We have to be strategic. We have to be tactical. To win the next election, we need at least 8,000 Grenadians out there in the diaspora. And when I refer to the diaspora, any island or country outside of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We need you to register, because to keep the transformation agenda going, we need to do just that. And at this point, Grenada is seen in a good light in the diaspora. People appreciate the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell. People appreciate what the NDC is doing because we continue to sell the positive things that are happening in our country. So I'm urging you once you come back to Grenada, for whatever event, whatever activity, please, you need to get registered, and I need to add you to my database so I can at least know how many people outside there are registered and willing to come back to vote in this country. Because Grenada belongs to all of us. Yes, you might be living in the diaspora, but you have a stake here, an equal stake in the development of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And no one could stop you from voting in the upcoming general election. So again, this is my pet project, to get as many people as possible in the diaspora to register to vote here in Grenada. So when the next election comes around, you can come and vote to make sure that the transformation agenda continues. Because there are people right here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. They've seen all the good things that are happening, taking place. They're getting X, they're getting Y. They benefiting significantly. And still for all, when the election time comes around, they will not go and vote to keep this administration in power and to keep the agenda, the transformation agenda going. Don't even talk about those who get big work and Mr. this and Mr. that. Some of them cannot even persuade the children who in the house past the age of 18 could vote. They cannot even persuade their children to vote for the NDC. But they have big work and they're big directors on this board and that board. Their advisor, their senior this and senior that. They traveling every minute. They getting a big salary and so on. Jacket and tie. You know. They don't even know the names of their neighbors and who their neighbors support. They don't even know their neighbors because they have this big electric or electronic gate, or that gate that works with electricity and sensor and so on. When they go into the premises or their property or the yard, the gate closes. They don't have to come out of the vehicle, and they go in, and it's still next day. And when they wake, they press the whatever again. The gate opens. They go to work or they go to do what they paid to do, and then they go back. They don't care about the politics. They don't care about persuading, convincing people to vote for the NDC so that they will continue to be in that work, because they believe NDC in power or not, they could play the game and continue to be in this big work or that big work, or be a director on this board or a director on that board, or some consultant or some big contractor. That is how they think. And they've always been right where that is concerned. They don't care about the politics. We are concerned about the politics, right? But at the end of the day, they're the beneficiaries. They're the ones who are getting everything. And you would always find that no matter what party in power. You have a clique who would always get everything. You can't run away from that. So they will not help the NDC to win the next election. It is simple people like me and you who will do that, because we understand the importance of the NDC remaining in power to guarantee the transformation agenda moves forward. So it's important you understand that dynamic. These people don't get you re-elected. They work for the big money. You see them at all the big events, and they this and they Mr. this and Mr. that. They don't understand if the NNP was in power, all of them who are on those boards as board of directors, they would not have been there. All. The NNP would have never get them on those boards. The NNP would put their people. So the reason why you're on a board is because of the NDC being in power. Nothing more than that. Not because of your competence. The NDC could put anybody on any board. Not because of your competence. Who are you to talk about competence? Well, you were competent. Why didn't the NNP put you on those boards? They did not. Because they don't see you as an NNP. Right? You're on those boards because the NDC put you there and the NDC got elected. If the NDC is out of power today, you're finished. You're advisor this and advisor that. At the end of the day, if NDC is out of power, you have nothing there. You would be nowhere. That's what it is. You have to understand the correlation between the government, your position, all your big position, and the party and the politics. And there are some NDC supporter. You're a housing officer. You're a seed officer. You're a whatever, a contractor, whatever position you have, and you believe you're a government worker. Stop your damn stupidness. You're not a public servant. No, you're not a government worker. And that is what caused this mess up with the CES program, Some of these people, they were appointed to certain positions to administrate this whole CES program. And they get caught up. They thought that they were public servants. That they're this big public servant thing, and public servant what? You're no public servant. NDC, not in power today or tomorrow. You have no work. The NNP will just dismiss you, kick you out the same day. And that is something that you need to know. All this, you're a housing officer and you believe you're a public servant. A public servant what? Who are you? You're an NNP or an NDC activist. That's what it is. When NNP was in power, they put their people in those positions. When NDC come into power, they're gone. That's what it is. So you have to understand how important the politics is to keeping your livelihood. That is why, and I'm saying all of this to come to a point, that is why some of those NNP supporters are so loyal, so bad for their party, Yeah, that is why, because they see their party as guaranteeing their livelihood. Yep, that is why they're so bad for their party. So I am saying that is where our supporters have to reach and be. You have to be bad for your party. Because once your party is in power, your livelihood is guaranteed at certain levels. And I'm not referring to public servants who are appointed by the Public Service Commission. I'm not referring to that. All the contracts, all the temporary employments and so on. It is because of your party in power. Don't fool yourself. I see some of those guys during the carnival time, they're in VIP and VIP. I just laugh. I say, look at these political idiots. Just like that. I said, if it was not for the NDC and the supporters working hard night and day to get the NDC in power, you would not have been in VIP as Mr. This and Mr. That. No. You would have been down on the ground like me. Look at Kev Jones. I was on the ground, mixing, mingling, them friends from overseas and here, them ladies and them, when they see me, it's just a wine. Come on, they give me a nice wine. Some of them, I lift them up, I raise them up, and, just fun. Lift them up and enjoy myself on the ground. I drank a Rivers or two, a little Heineken, and I had a nice time. I play my jab. I had my bullhorn on my head, and you understand the point? I mix and mingle, and that's how I do it. And everybody, Kem Jones. That's what that's the politics. It's on the ground. So if NNP was there, you would have been like me on the ground. Simple, mixing, mingling. Not up there looking down and playing bourgeoisie and big shot and VIP this and VIP that. What's wrong with all you? Huh? I'm saying that to say to you, the reason why you are where you are is because of the NDC winning the election. If the NNP was there, you would nowhere. Nowhere. So bear that in mind as you go about your business and as you believe that you're some big this and big that. Remember, it is the party who got you there. So you must make sure that the party is re-elected so you can remain there. This thing is common sense. This thing is ABC. You have to understand what got you there. The vehicle that got you where you are as a director on some board of a statutory body. Or some senior this or some senior that. Remember that. There's some police officers, senior police officers, who were taken back or who were promoted. Folks who were promoted, if NNP was in power, you think you would have been promoted? You're joking. Think again. Some of you who have been given senior positions in the ministries and so on. You think if NNP was in power, you would have been given that? Think again. You would not have been there. You would not have gotten that position. Nothing like that. Simple. That's how the NNP functions. So the NDC is in power, and because the NDC is in power, you got what you got. That's common sense. That's politics 101. So don't play you more than anybody. Go back to basic. Understand. The party is important. Making sure that the party is strong. Making sure that the events and activities and everything happen. Making sure that the party is organized. making sure that we get stuff done. That is what I continue to do. I'm not a cleaner in any of those ministry. I have not received a sandwich from the NDC administration or party. I have not received a sandwich, not even a nail, not even a candy, right, from the NDC. I am not on any board. I am not in any ministry sweeping or cleaning or administrating, nothing. I have not gotten any contract to do anything. I have not gotten anything, not even 1 cent. And I'm happy to say that because people understand my genuine nature. I am for Grenada. I want NDC to be in power because once NDC is in power, Grenada will be transformed. Grenada will move forward. I am not like some of those folks. I mean, they greedy. They want everything. They glut. They greedy. Look at me. Simple guy out here doing my due. And I do so happily because I want the NDC to remain in power. And I'm volunteering. I am doing these 2 programs, volunteering my time and effort. I am not collecting a salary from this program. For the last 9 years and counting, I have not collected a salary. No. When the 10th year reach, 10 years of me being on air and so on, then, by then I would have my radio station and everything will be set up and so on, and then I'll be able to collect a salary after 10 years. So all these people you see fronting, they do a thing, many of them. Fronting, right? But I'm here. I'm still here fighting the fight, morning and night, consistently so. That's what it is. And use me as an example. I got nothing from this government. Not a sweetie, not a dime. Neither the party. Not a sweetie, not a dime. Because I serve the people. Because this program has always been about the people. That is why the program continues to grow from strength to strength. Because I believe in the people. And the NDC is good for the people of the country to bring development, bring prosperity and betterment. And I will be forever solid with the NDC because you see, I am the kind of person, I am not 1 foot on the show and 1 foot in the water, you know. When I supporting you, ask about me, you know. When Kem Jones supporting you, he's supporting you go right down to the last, you know. No matter what people say. He's supporting you. Hello? Hello?
I'm speaking to Kem, right?
Yes, you're speaking to Kem Jones.
I'm Stephen Alexander. It's the first time I really called, but then you saw the message I sent for you.
When you send that message to me?
I sent it this morning.
All right.
For registration, because my wife registered about a year ago, and she
Right. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said your wife registered about a year ago.
And they give her a hard time because she was down there last December, and they give her a hard time to get she ID. But I'm coming down for the Christmas, and when I come for the Christmas, I want to go and register too.
Right. So link me up when you come down. You have my number already. Link me up, and I'll make sure you're registered.
And when you having the next showdown for the registration?
Right. December there will be a small event, and in between some small events, but the next big event is just before Independence, the 50th.
Hello.
Yeah, the 50th Independence. You heard me? Right, for the 50th Independence celebration.
Okay, then, all right. My wife would be down, but I wouldn't be down.
All right, no problem. But when you come down in December, all right?
Yeah.
Link me up. You have my number so I can get you, make sure that you are registered. Because your wife is already registered.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah. So you're going to check the message?
Yeah, man. I'll check the message and follow up with you, of course.
All right, then.
All right, plenty love.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
all right,
cool.
Cool.
All right.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Once you come to Grenada, once you reach in Grenada and you land in Grenada, call me. My number is the easiest number, right? Easiest number to get. All you need to do is to just call at me, send me a message. Once you get in Grenada, I will make sure that you're registered. Once you're an NDC, once you believe in the government, you want the government to succeed, I will make sure that you are registered. So you get, all you need is a Grenadian birth certificate. All you need is a Grenadian passport. That's all. If you have a birth certificate or a passport, any one of them, that will get you registered. And it will take some time for you to get the ID. But once you are registered, that is what is important. Your ID is always there. It's not hard. Okay? So let us work on that. I want to have at least 8,000 Grenadians in the diaspora register and in my database. So when the election comes closer, I can activate you, mobilize you, organize you to come back to Grenada to vote. And I would also tell you some of the key constituencies that it's needed. You need to register. If you're from there, you need to register there because we are going for at least 14 seats in the next election. And we have to start now. And this is a pet project of your humble servant. And a lot of people have reached out to me and have actually started adding your data. You know, I'm big on data, analyzing, inputting data into little softwares and so on and getting the results that is required. And when I function alone. I don't function with other people, so nobody else would know your information except Kem Jones. If you know about me very well, the people who support this program, not even my lady in my house, know who support this program and give to this program. I keep it dear to my heart, confidential and private. So when you deal with me, it is private. When I write on paper in my house, I don't put it in the bin. My bills and everything like that, I don't put it in the bin. I burn it. I burn every single thing. That is what I do. I have a little area, a little drum, and I burn every single thing. I don't shred it. I burn it. That is how confidential I am when it comes to your information, when it comes to my information. So again, you have no fear. Have no fear. It is so important that the folks in the diaspora register, and your children who are also eligible to register, they must register. So that's a pet project, and we're going to continue on that wavelength because we have to keep what is happening here going for the next 15 years, at least 3 solid terms, and then we will see the kind of transformation. It's not going to happen overnight, but your vote, your support is important. And while I'm at that, the folks who pledge their financial support to keeping the program going, to keeping the program on air, try to honor that commitment. Today is Thursday, the 7th day of September. Right? The majority of people have not honored that as yet. So today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, at least between now and next week, try to honor that commitment. If you pledge your finances to the program, please honor that. Send it via MoneyGram, send it via Western Union, or if you're here in Grenada, call me up, let me pick it up, and let's do what we are accustomed doing. Because it's really and truly the usual people who normally give to the program and keeping the program going. There are 1 or 2 new people, and I'm eternally grateful. But it's so important that when you pledge, because remember, we have to pay the bills, we have to meet the commitments. That's important. Very, very important. Because when you pledge, it keeps the program going. And to those who are listening to the program, this program is funded by people just like you. Give the $50, the $10, the $20, the $100, whatever the amount, towards keeping the program going. And I say to you, if you're out there and you could afford to give a little to keep the program going, do so. All you need to do is to send me a message on 1473 415 4817. 415 4817. WhatsApp me. Hey, Kim, I want to send a little $20. I want to give a little $10, $100, whatever the amount towards the program. It will be appreciated. It will be appreciated, because it's not easy to keep this program on air. That is why you don't have many programs like these. And then you have the NNP with their programs now. They're trying to do the same thing that I am doing and they're not succeeding. That is what they're actually doing now. Or they have certain people in the bank rolling them, giving them the money and so on. But this program is a people-centered program. So I want to urge you to please give towards this program to keep it on air. And once you make that pledge, try to honor that pledge. Say, Kemal, by Friday, by Saturday, by Monday, by Tuesday, you're going to get it, that kind of stuff. So I know, because we have bills to pay because remember, the month already ended. So we're already 7 days into the next month, but all the bills supposed to be paid by the 9th of the month. That's when all the bills are due, by the 9th of the month, every month. Sometimes, you have some people who would get the money by the 15th. So they would let me know. So I kind of know what's going down, right? But it's so important. If you pledge, fulfill that pledge to keep the program on air and keep things going. That's important, very important. So folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. Remember, we have a lot to achieve together. This country is moving in the right direction. Grenada is being transformed. And don't worry about the obstructionist and the old cock in the other party and all of them with their rubbish. Don't worry them with that. They bitter, they sour, they were badly beaten at the polls, and they cannot live with that. They can't. They just cannot live with it. But they will get more leaks in the next election. They get in more blows in the next election. Mark my word. Mark my words. More blows for them in the next election. Because I don't operate by guess. I'm tactical, I'm strategic, and I'm a data-driven person. Folks, have a wonderful day. Take good care, and bye for now. And Susu, Salsa, no, I don't want the NDC as a party to give me anything. No. So take that out of your vocabulary. Let the people support this program. You hear me? This is a people-centered program. So I don't want the party to give me anything. The party has their own stuff to do and to handle. I don't want no party to give me anything. Remember I said to you before, if the NNP or the NDC as a party offer me any money, I'll tell them keep their damn money. I don't want it. No, I don't want it, period. Because this program must be independent of all of this, right? We are working to keep our party and keep our government in power. Whoever pays the piper calls the tune. The people call the tune on this program. Take good care and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.